Welcome back to Science Made Simple. I'm Dr. Boyd the Chemist, and today we're going to make another type of paper airplane. One that looks like this. I call it a glider. But before we get started, definitely hit the subscribe button and also check out the first video where we made a paper airplane, because in that video I explained the concepts of flight and how it is that a paper airplane can actually take flight. Now, for today's fun, all you'll need is a piece of paper. Also, because we're just using paper and folding it up, this is a very safe, fun experiment or activity to do. You don't need goggles, a lab coat, and gloves. Let's get started. With your paper situated such that the long edges are on the sides and the short edges are at the top and bottom, grab the top right corner and fold it down in order to align the top edge of the paper with the left edge of the paper to create a diagonal fold along the right edge. You want to fold this as carefully as possible so that you end up with a pointed corner on the top left side. In addition to the diagonal fold that is created, this also creates a secondary bottom edge that we will come back to in a moment, so do note its existence. Crease the fold. Now fold the top left pointed corner of the paper down to the right edge of the paper along the diagonal fold. Crease the diagonal fold that forms along the left side. Your paper should be a non-regular pentagon, meaning it has 5 sides of different length. It kind of resembles a two-dimensional house with a pointed roof in the center. Take the point that is at the top center and fold it straight down to that secondary bottom edge I mentioned before. This will form a top edge that is parallel to the bottom edge. Crease the top folded edge. Now the paper is thick in this region, and so this is a little tricky to do, and you'll have to really work those hand muscles to fold it just right, but you can do it. You should now have a non-regular hexagonally shaped piece of paper. Rotate the paper 90 degrees counterclockwise and symmetrically fold the paper in half, aligning the diagonal edges. All of your prior folds should be on the inside of this symmetrical fold. This will create a long top edge and short bottom edges. On the left side of the paper, measure down about 1/2 inch from the long top edge and hold your finger on that point along the edge to mark where your next fold will be. Starting from the short bottom edge, fold the top flap of paper upward. The fold line should be parallel to the short bottom edge, and the left edges of the paper should stay aligned. Crease the fold. Repeat this process using the other half of the paper. You'll want the two halves to be symmetrical to one another, with the diagonal edges aligned. The bottom edges should also be aligned. Now you can pull those flaps down so that they lie flat along the surface of a table. At this point, your glider is actually finished, and you can take it out for some flying fun. But you can modify it even further by folding the short edges of the wings about 1/2 inch such that this fold sits perpendicular to a flat surface when you set the plane down. You can point this fold upward or downward. You can even fold one edge upward and one edge downward. The flight results will be altered whichever you choose. I have folded mine such that they point in the direction opposite that of the main center fold. In other words, they point downward. A couple of things to notice are that the wings are broad instead of narrow. This will allow the glider to capture more air under the wings. Also, the glider is heavier toward the front than it is at the back, meaning the center of gravity is closer to the front than it is to the back. Okay, we have our glider. Let's see how it flies. So this glider is actually a lot of fun to throw around because you find out pretty quickly it doesn't just fly in a forward straight line. You can throw it straight downward and it won't immediately crash into the ground. You can throw it straight upward and it will just loop around. In fact, if you throw it sideways and parallel to the ground, it can actually fly in a complete circle and come back to you. Of course, this also depends on how your wings are bent and how good you are at throwing the plane.
Oh, that was cool.
Did you catch it on film?
I doubt it.